Hi, this is Tom Broussard. It's my first YouTube of the new year in January 2020. Um, I went to a recent aphasia group here in town in St. Augustine, and we had a game. It was a game called SkipBo. Never used this before, never seen it before. It was a really good game, and we started doing it right away, and it was a lot of fun. But you go around the table, so it takes good 10, 15 minutes to go all the way around. So as we started doing the work, playing the game, I started, since I had lots of time, I started looking at everybody's hand, looking at what they were doing, beginning to understand how the game really would work. And it was a lot of fun. But as I was watching each of the people, and there were six people, people with aphasia, and 2 therapists, I started looking at how each of us were acting, as it were, acting in terms of looking at the cards, looking at other people, looking for what they are thinking about, thinking what they were thinking based on their eye contact, their body language. So I started writing down what I thought I was seeing in terms of each of us in the group, thinking about what's going on and having to confront what we didn't know before and learning how we were going to learn about the game. So as I was working on that, I could actually see people seeing something, remembering something, learning from that, and being able to talk back, basically real time, telling other people what they just had seen and or experienced based on the tricks of the game as they began to know it in the moment. So in real time, I saw people bringing in information, integrating that information, and coming back out with different information they didn't have a minute before. So I got to see how fast the brain works, that you actually can bring it in on the inside and put it back out on the outside, literally simultaneously. So I really was interested and continued to write, as it turned out, as fast as I could about all of the activities and what I call the brain and language activities that I could see, that I was witnessing in front of me. And all along the way, meaning not just today, and not just at that game, I've always been thinking about looking for an analogy that would help me better understand about this capacity of plasticity that literally does let people like me and others relearn our language, right? I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I was a dean at a college outside of Boston, fell down on that street, could not read, write, or speak well. And I got better. How does that happen? Now, of course, we all know how it works. Clinically, we try to figure that out, but here's all of us. I mean, we're the ones who experienced it. How does that work? And I was looking for an analogy that would let me better use that, rationalize a metaphorical understanding of that. And I found it, actually just thinking about it, although I was recently at the Monticello house in Charlottesville for President Thomas Jefferson, and came upon a device that he bought, but he used it all the time. And believe it or not, it's called a polygraph, and it looks the same name as the lie detective machine, also called a polygraph. They call this one polygraph duplicating device. And President Jefferson used that device for tens of thousands of letters that he had provided. It actually looks like this. If you can see it online. That's what it looks like. And that's one of those really old machines. I mean, we're talking 1804, a long time ago, but he used it all the time because he could write what he was writing in the letter he was about to send, and it would duplicate that in another letter right there that you just saw. So I began to use that as a metaphorical understanding of how we, people on the outside who had lost our language, come to understand that all of these language activities would allow us to get better on the inside. And I came upon the realization that plasticity is nothing more nor less than the yoke that ties the outside activities and what it does to induce plasticity, and the inside, when plasticity allows the remaining cells to grow as a result of those activities and this capacity of plasticity to grow more dendrites and more synapses and more connectivity. And that's really the issue, is all of the connectivity, the trillions of connectivity that are lost when you lose your cells, because out of that comes the neuron, the dendrites, and the synapses. So you have to build more dendrites and synapses, and you do that because of plasticity, but it has to be linked between the outside, because of the activities, and the inside, the learning that comes as a result of the plasticity allows you to learn, and having come back out and be able to speak the next moment with what you didn't have before, but now do now, because it went in, integrated, and created more dendrites, synapses, and connectivity, such that you can now better explain what you couldn't explain before as it comes back out in the moment. That was pretty cool. And literally, I just did this in the last couple of days and wanted to get that out to everybody because it was a very interesting experiment. I'll call it an experiment of why games, among all the other activities, whether they're considered therapeutic or not, are still highly therapeutic. Why? Because that is what they do. It is in their nature. They write things, they do things, they act in certain ways on the outside, and on the inside, not unlike Thomas Jefferson's, you have your own neuro polygraph. And while you're working on the outside, you're duplicating the energy in various forms on the inside, and allows you to come back out and speak with the outside pen using Plasticity Inc. And that's it. And that's it for the month. I'll talk to you next month. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.